Good morning, everybody. This is chapter 24. It's got a lot of information, so we will be doing this in more than one section, but I think I can get it up so that you can just watch one right after the other. And I already have the test ready, and I'll put it at the very end, so you don't necessarily have to do the test today. You can always come back and do it, later after you've studied the book some more. Obviously, you have your books, so they will be open book tests. Okay, so why do we need to learn about facial makeup? Your clients are going to trust you to help them look their best. Easy peasy makeup fixes will build your clientele for all services. Never hurts to have some foundations, different foundations, if you get their face wet when you're shampooing them, or shampoo off the edges of their makeup or their eyebrows. So it never hurts to have a little bit of makeup there handy, so that you can fix them up. They'll really appreciate that if they need to go to the grocery store or whatever after they leave your salon. Learning to contour and highlight will really help you to accent your client's best features and minimize imperfections. That's kind of the whole point of makeup. Understanding formulation will help you to recommend the proper products. So cosmetics. Foundation, also called base makeup, comes in liquid, stick, cream, or powder. The application usually starts with a primer. So in your book they have primer as part of your foundation rather than primer and then foundation. Primer is usually clear, silicone based, but you can also have colored to hide imperfections in the skin. And that we'll go over a little bit more when we get to the color wheel part of it. So the chemistry of foundation, liquid and cream are an emulsion of oil and water. Obviously, the liquid is more water than oil, and the cream is more oil than water. Pigments come from a natural mineral source. They're either water-based or oil-based. Sometimes contain aluminum or another drying agent to create a matte finish, so it's not shiny. Cream is thicker and oil-based, and it's meant for the dry or aging skin types. Always check to see if it is non-comedogenic. You don't want to be causing them to have acne or blackheads or whiteheads or any of that stuff. So you don't want, non-comedogenic means it won't clog the pores. That's what you want to make sure that you have. And pretty much anymore, all types of foundations have sunscreen in them, some kind of it. Mineral. There are some liquid foundations that are mineral. Most of us know mineral foundation as a powder that's very pigmented. It's usually applied with a kabuki brush, which is really just a big fluffy brush. It feels weightless. It doesn't feel like they have makeup on, and some of your clients don't want to feel like they have makeup on. Very good for people with acne, rosacea, so you can calm down that redness. If they have allergies to makeups or sensitive skin, the mineral foundation is going to work better for you. Okay, the second cosmetic is concealer. It hides dark circles, hyperpigmentation, distended capillaries. I believe that's a test question, guys. Contains a high level of pigmentation. You're covering up things. You're needing to change that skin tone. That's what you use concealer for. Comes in a stick, a pencil, a tin, a jar, tubes with wands. So there's a lot of different ones to choose from. Sorry, hope I just didn't get my foot in your picture there. Some have anti-acne ingredients, which the main one of those is salicylic acid. They are silicone based or oil based. Okay, face powders is the next one. It sets your foundation. It can remove shine, so a lot of times these are used throughout the day to remove that shine if you have somebody that has oilier skin. You can have loose powder or pressed powder. Loose powder is usually used to set the makeup. Pressed powder is usually used to keep it up throughout the day. And it is usually used as the last layer of your foundation and then of your whole set, your whole makeup. The term translucent means very little pigment, so it's pretty much just clear. It's pretty much just powder. It's not going to show. But there is usually a little bit. You can get in light, medium, dark, same as anything else. And you just have to, figure out which one works best for your skin or for your client's skin. Eyeshadows come in cream, pressed, loose powder, pretty much every color under the sun, and lots of finishes. You can have the metallics, the mattes, the frosts, the shimmers. I will tell you, when you're dealing with older clients, you don't want shiny stuff. You don't want frost, you don't want shimmer, you don't want metallic. You want to have some matte palettes in order to do your older clients. Or someone that has a lot of sun exposure, because they're going to have more wrinkles, their skin's going to be drier, and those shiny things tend to get right down in those wrinkles and accentuate them. Eyeliners come in pencil, liquid, pressed like a cake that you get wet and then you use an eyeliner brush on that, or you can get a felt tip pen. Lots and lots of colors. Pencils have a paraffin base or a petrolatum base. Paraffin base is wax, just like our paraffin wax. Petrolatum is an oil base. They can be hard or they can be soft. One main thing, I think this was in a little square thing down on your page, is do not line the inner rim. Okay? I've done makeup on people and they're like, well, what about there by my lower lashes? No, 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 no. You don't want to line the inner rim. It can lead to infections of the membrane lining the inside of the eye. It can really mess up your eyes. Guaranteed, that's part of the issue I have with my watery eyes, is that back in the 80s, we all did that. And we all did it with a big, black, heavy coal pencil. So, you're never supposed to line that inner rim. Okay, eyebrow color. This has gotten a lot more popular in probably the last 5 years, especially since eyebrows have gotten a little bit thicker than they used to be. Throughout the 90s and most of the 2000s, we had very thin, pencil-thin eyebrows, and they started getting a little bit bigger around 2012, 2013, and now obviously they're a little more natural. We try to go with more of a natural shape now. We're not forcing them into a shape, unless they have like crazy going the wrong way eyebrows. But eyebrow color is similar to the pressed eyeshadows. It's a powder usually. The pencils, they will say right on them, brow and eyeliner. So you can use them for both. The chemical ingredients are also the same as eyeshadow or eyeliner pencils. Okay, cheek color, also called blush or rouge. Okay, depends. You're going to hear these different terms from different areas of the country and from different age clients. But it can come in a powder, a liquid, a gel, or a cream. It's layered over your foundation and blended in. That's the biggest thing I think I have on cheek color is blend, blend, blend. Blend that in. Everything needs to be blended. Again, back in the 80s, we had that big old streak of color on our cheeks. If you're needing to do something for theater or something like that, you may not blend it as well, but all makeup should be blended very well for a more natural look. Alrighty, lip color, right there, almost in the center, the lips. Also called lipstick or lip gloss. It's waxy, has lots of them have moisturizers in them. Comes in creams, gloss, pencil, gel, or stick. A mixture of oils and waxes and pigments that are known as lakes or color dyes. Remember, lakes or color dyes. Lip liner is applied before usually, and it's basically a colored eyeliner pencil. It looks the same as an eyeliner pencil. It's just, usually in a red or a neutral or a mauve, kind of to match your lipstick. It goes through phases of, for a while there, I want to say in the 90s, maybe. We had our lip liner much darker than our lipstick. So it was like a big old outline colored in with another color. Um, it all goes through phases. It may come back sometime. If you are ever doing any editorial theater work, you may have to do some of these things and look them up. So check it out. Always sharpen the pencil to clean it before you use the sharpener. And remember to clean your sharpener. A lot of people will go in there and sharpen it and then just throw the sharpener back in. And then their next client comes in and then they sharpen it again. And you've got the germs from the 2 people before that on there now. So make sure that you're cleaning that sharpener every time. Same thing with your eyeliner pencils. Any kind of a pencil, you need to sharpen it before each use. And clean your pencil sharpener. Okay, mascara. Comes in liquid, cake, or cream. Okay, there's a variety of colors. They contain rayon or nylon fibers to lengthen and thicken the lashes. The brushes can be straight, they can be curved. I don't know if we can get the curved ones. I'm not sure. I'm sure we should be able to get the curved ones, but generally we get the straight ones. You never double dip in mascara when you're working on a client because you're going to just spread those germs around. The other thing is I see a lot of students pump that mascara. You don't need to pump the mascara. That just puts air in it, which makes the mascara go bad faster. So you're just pumping germs and air into it if you're pumping that mascara as you're putting it in. You should be able to one time swirl it around a little bit and take it out and use it. Make sure that you're using on a client a new wand each time you have to dip into that. Because once you've used it, you can't put it back in that mascara tube. Okay? A lot of makeup artists will choose to use the cake mascara just for that reason. Because they can scrape a little bit of it off, put the water on it, and then they can double dip their brush in that without messing up the original cake. It is a polymer product formulated with water, film formers, preservatives, wax, and thickeners. The most used pigments are carbon black and iron oxides. Other things as far as makeup tools and products go, eye makeup removers can be water or oil based. Basically, the water based is for fixing errors. If you mess up or if you get some eyeshadow where you don't want eyeshadow, okay, you're generally going to use your water based. You're going to use the oil based for complete removal. That is more like your cold cream. Okay, it's thick, it's your Pond's, whatever you use, but yeah, it's the cold cream stuff. Okay, grease paint is very heavy. It is used for theatrical purposes. Like your people on TV, they're using grease paint. They're using heavy, thick makeup so that those bright lights in the studio don't wash them out. There's also cake makeup, also called pancake makeup, which those of you that have had the earliest chapters have learned about this. But cake makeup has a heavier coverage. It's a pressed powder, but it's applied with a wet sponge rather than a brush. So it is heavier than a regular foundation, but not as heavy as grease paint. Okay, grease paint generally, just like what it says, grease paint. It's heavy, it's thick, it's greasier. Cake makeup is a little bit drier. You put it on with a wet sponge. And cake makeup is usually used to cover scars or uneven pigmentation. A lot of people that are wanting to cover scars daily are using airbrush makeup now. You want to use cake makeup if you're needing to cover a tattoo for something. We've also tried this. My daughter has tattoos, and we tried covering up the ones on her feet, and really we just did foundation and powder a few times. I think I used They are dark tattoos. They're like the bluish. Um, so we used an orangey yellow primer to start with, just to try and cut some of that, almost like a concealer, to start cutting some of that color out of it, because we don't want her also to have a big blotch of foundation on her foot that doesn't match the rest of her foot. So some of these things are just things, try them out. Try them on your friends, try them on your kids, try them on your nieces and nephews, whatever, because practice is the only thing that's going to make you better. Watch the videos, things like that. So makeup brushes, also under other. There is a chart on page 817 with all of the brushes on there. They're generally, they're made either of synthetic hair or animal hair, and different ones are for different things. Okay, so you can see on your chart what each brush looks like and what it's made for. I'm not going to go over all of that separately. But there are 3 parts of the brush. Obviously the hair, or the bristles. The ferrule is that metal part that keeps the hairs all together and hooks it to the handle. You're going to want to look for a crimping or an extra band around that ferrule to make sure that the handle won't loosen up. One of my favorite kabuki brushes, the handle fell off. But the hairs are still stuck in the ferrule, so I just use it that way. I just hold on to the ferrule instead of the handle, because there isn't a handle anymore, and it's really old, but it hasn't lost any hair because I clean it properly, which we're getting down to. The handle can be anything: wood, acrylic, plastic, metal. Really, you just are going to find the brushes that you like the best. You need to clean after each use. And in a pinch, you can use a spray cleaner. Like if you're doing makeup at a wedding, if you're doing touch-up makeup somewhere, you can use a spray cleaner. But they're really not great for the brush itself. And they aren't necessary. I feel like they don't get it very clean. You want to use antibacterial soap, followed by a commercial cleaning solution. Rinse it thoroughly, form the bristles, and lay them flat to dry. Okay, I don't think it might be on a sidebar in your book, but make sure that you're holding it with the ferrule, the bristles pointed down, and let the water run through it that way. Don't turn as I'm over here motioning all this with my hands and you can't see me anyway, but don't hold it like straight into the water. Hold the brush up and down so the water is running from the ferrule down into your sink, or however you're doing it. I've seen people put them in bowls and like dab them, and that's going to mess with the bristles staying in the ferrule, or ferrule, however you want to say that. Excuse me. So yeah, run them under. You want to lay them flat to dry. Put them in a closed container. When you're doing makeup on clients, again, this is going to be something that you will try different things and see what works for you. There are single-use items. You use them once, you throw them away. If you don't like to clean brushes, find something else that will work that you can just toss after each person. Sponges, powder puffs. Okay, they make little baby powder puffs. Mascara wands we've talked about. Spatulas. If you are using anything that's cake, or especially if you use a brush, you want to scrape it with a spatula off onto some kind of an applicator little bowl kind of thing. I know we've used like paint dish things where you would put little drops of paint in. So you would want to scrape that off and then use your brush to pick it up and put it on the client's face. Again, that way if you know you're going to be putting several layers on, you can double dip back into that. You can't double dip back into the cake thing. But spatulas. Lip brushes, kind of self-explanatory. They do make throwaway lip brushes. That was kind of one of my things. I like to have the single-use lip brushes because you don't want, it's just mouth. Mouths are yucky. I don't like to reuse a lip brush. Sponge-tipped shadow applicators. That's kind of like what comes with an eyeshadow when you buy the eyeshadow. They're not really meant for more than one use. I mean, these are single-use applicators. But even what comes in, like the brush that comes in the blush that you buy, these little applicators that come with your eyeshadows, those are kind of meant for the on-the-go touch-up things. They're not meant for the everyday application. But you can get the single-use sponge tip shadow applicators. We have them at the school. But you know what? If you run out, grab some Q-tips. Q-tips are great. They're cheap, and they'll work just as well. You know, you just have to, everything it is practice and get used to it. Cotton swabs, okay, the cotton pads or cotton puffs. All of these things will work to apply makeup. I have seen people put blush on with a cotton ball. Haven't tried it myself, but I guess if I got in dire straits, I could probably do that. So single use is a very easy way to keep from spreading infections or anything like that. And it really is your responsibility to prevent that spread. So use the spatulas, never double dip. Again, sharpen your pencils before and after each use. Use disposable applicators. And very main thing, wash your hands. Wash your hands. Not just hand sanitizer. I mean, you're going to want to use hand sanitizers on top of washing your hands, but you definitely want to be washing your hands, okay? So that was kind of a lot of information, so I'm going to give you a little bit of break here, and I will come back and start. The next section is color theory, and I'll go ahead and get this up for you so you can actually see it, and then I'll get the color theory one going next. Hope you're enjoying your time off.